everyone. You are joining us today for the Hot Sauce Releases webinar. Thanks so much for everyone who's here. Today, we're going to be going over some of the most recent and upcoming feature and product releases here at Sauce. I'm Jenna. I'm a product marketer. So we have team members, experts from across Sauce Labs that's going to be joining us today, going through live demos and presenting on some of our products and features. So I will pass it off to Mike to get us started.
Thanks, Jenna. So thanks everybody for joining. Great to see all of you and get really excited to share what we're working on and what our strategy is. I'll open up a little bit. I'm going to set some context for everybody before I hand it off on our product strategy and kind of how we see the quality space and what we're trying to do with it. So there's some first principles about software development that I think about. And I think we hopefully all agree that software quality is one of those, the need to have high quality software is one of those first principles of what it takes to build great software. And it's really a connection to the foundation of your business, right? The quality leads to a good quality practice. Good software quality leads to a great customer experience, which then helps your business grow and help you attract and retain customers. So it's really a foundation for your business. There are some challenges though that we all realize and even data to back it up, right? Some of these are really interesting to think about the challenges that quality practices face every day, or engineering teams face every day. First is the sprawl of the client experiences that your end users are having to deal with, right? Which means that you have to ensure your system and software works on all those devices, whether it's all the different iOS and Android phones out there, whether it's all the browsers, whether it's different operating systems that your end users are using. The proliferation of devices is a serious challenge to tackle to ensure a high quality experience. We also see that a large amount of time is spent by developers, by engineering teams on testing to ensure a high quality experience. Over 41% of time spent on testing, which, for all its benefits, it does delay that time to market, right? It's a step in the process that you do that delays your release. And it's a critical step that we're not going to get rid of, but it does take up a lot of time. And one of the most interesting stats that we just learned about as we launched a developer survey recently is that, look, that 41% is really just the tip of the iceberg, because there's a lot of code releases, a lot of code changes going out that are not tested. 67% of developers admitting that they're pushing out changes without the proper testing required to lead to a high quality experience. And so it means that we could be testing a lot more than we are, even at 41%. And so it really creates this bottleneck in the process, and it's something that we're here to solve. And we think we've got an idea for what that looks like. And we really think that the solution to this, and what some of the best product teams and engineering teams out there are doing, is they incorporate testing continuously throughout the software development lifecycle, all the way from the moment that code is being written on a developer's machine into the continuous integration environment, and even getting testing done in some form within production, and just having it be this continuous feedback cycle across all the different personas involved in testing. We have the way that we help solve this. This is the journey we're on, is creating this platform, and the foundation of that continuous testing platform is our infrastructure. We provide highly scalable and secure device. We call it a device lake. This is all the different mobile devices on our real device cloud, our private devices, as well as our virtual devices, right? The ability to test at scale on emulators and iOS simulators. The same thing applies in the browser and operating system space, right? Being able to test your web applications at scale across the different browsers and operating systems that your application needs to run successfully on. But it doesn't stop there. It really also contains this test runtime tooling. And this is all the things that make your testing, your functional testing, run efficiently. It's things like our secure connection to your internal networks through Sauce Connect. It's things like obviously our REST APIs that you interact with, and it's also the new product that we launched earlier this year called Sauce Orchestrate that we'll talk a lot more about. But that's really the foundation of this testing platform that you'll hear us explore more today. It doesn't stop there, though. We think that the platform really involves some more key components, right? We believe that over time, we'll be building out an ecosystem of different testings built on top of that infrastructure. Some we'll talk about today, but this is things that we'll build. It's things that we'll integrate with. It's really meant to be an ecosystem of different testing applications that solve for new use cases that you're starting to implement in your testing strategy. Pulling it all together is an observability layer where we use all the data that we're collecting in this platform to help you understand your test strategy today and how it should be adjusted and optimized into the future. So today we're going to walk through a little bit of our roadmap. We want to give you an insight into what we're doing and what we're building out into the future. So we're going to take you on a little bit of a journey through our infrastructure and advancements we're making there. We're going to then get into the applications, integrations, the ecosystem world, and tell you, show you what's coming out in that space. And then finally, we'll give you first look into some of the observability and data and insights capabilities that are coming out next quarter and as we look into FY25. Really excited to go over this with you all and keep the questions coming and feedback coming. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Sangeet.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to walk through just a few slides on what Sauce Orchestrate is, what it's about, and then I'll show you because I think that's a little bit more powerful than just some slides. So this is all about the infrastructure layer, right? And so when we talk about that, what we talk about is Sauce Orchestrate, which is really a container-based execution environment allowing you to take your tests and run them in the Sauce Hub environment. So, and we'll talk about what this really means, but the idea behind this is to really boost velocity and increase some efficiency in your testing. So the traditional way, or the way you're used to doing it on Sauce Hubs today, is the remote model, right? So you've got your test code and your CI on the left side here, which is your environment, and you've got your site under test, your application under test, also in your environment. And then you've got Sauce Labs, browsers, and mobile devices on the right-hand side here. And the way it works today is your test code and your CI will trigger thousands of network calls back and forth to the Sauce Labs browser. Those are your test commands like your page load, your send keys, your click, your find elements, all of that. And then this gray line at the bottom here is really just us connecting back to your application to execute those. So what Sauce Orchestrate allows you to do is essentially remove these thousands of orange network lines. And so the new, or the Sauce Orchestrate way of doing things is you still have your CI and your application on yours for the environment, but now you're using Sauce CTL, which is our command line runner tool, to execute a bunch of tests. And what you're actually doing is packaging up your test code into a container and shipping that to us. And the way you do that is by putting it up onto a container registry like Docker Hub or Quay or a software threat registry, which I'll talk about in a second here. And then what we're doing on our side is downloading that container, deploying it onto a machine that sits next to the browser or the mobile device, and essentially removing these thousands of network commands and running your tests locally on our environment. What this does is it reduces the latency between the test and the browser because they sit next to each other. So how does this work, right? It's basically, like I said earlier, it's built on Docker technology. So it integrates any Docker registry. You package up your code, you ship it, and send it to us. We'll execute it on our grid. It works exactly as it does today with all of the mobile devices, browsers, any version, mobile app, mobile web, all of that. Nothing, any language, framework, all of that stuff, right? We're not changing anything in the way we support your testing. It does really easily integrate into your CI, right? It's developer friendly. We're offering a command line tool to execute this. It's also something that most folks are used to doing, right? You're used to packaging up your code or your application and deploying it somewhere locally. And so it's really taking that experience, but allowing you to do that on Sauce Labs. Your test results, your debugging information, videos, screenshots, logs, all of that stuff is still accessible. It's all available on Sauce Labs as it is today. And if anything, you're getting a little bit more information because we actually have the test code running in our environment. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have a private image registry. So if you do need added security on top of just using something like Docker Hub, we do have our own privately hosted registry that lives in the Soft environment that's secured by us and covered under all of our security protocols like that you're used to, like just like App Management. And we're also utilizing Soft Connect to still be able to securely connect back into your backend databases or API calls or other things that your test code is doing now that it does live remotely. So you don't lose any functionality there. So quickly, the reason why we did this really, or the benefits of this is the main one really is increasing your testing times, right? So we're seeing up to 70% faster test execution times, and really some other things that kind of came out of this, right? So that was our goal. That was a goal we set out to accomplish, and we noticed a bunch of other things. So we noticed that it actually helps you optimize your CI/CD and reduce costs there. You're not spinning up 10, 15, 20 CI agents to now run these tests in parallel. You're spinning up one agent that's telling us to run the test, and then we're handling everything else. And what we also noticed was an improvement in reliability. And so earlier, I showed that picture with the thousands of network calls. Well, everyone knows that network is one of the most unreliable, unpredictable pieces of something, right? So whenever you're making that many network calls, the chance of one of them dropping or one of them not being routed correctly or being blocked, etc., is fairly high. And so those errors that you see sometimes of timeout or network drops or anything like that, we've actually seen a lot of reduction in that as well. And that's just a beautiful side effect of this execution method. Yeah, okay, cool. So now I'm going to jump over to kind of show you some stuff because I think that will hit a little bit better. So here I have a standard Selenium Java test. It looks exactly the same as anybody's Selenium Java code. I have made zero modifications to this from the standard way of doing it. I'm calling my browsers. I've got a bunch of tests down here. Nothing different, nothing added, no changes needed. What I need to do now to run this in Soft Orchestrate is create a Docker file to package this test code up into an image. And it's a very simple Docker file here, but you can get more complicated as needed. And then I'm using source control, so I've got this config file here, just a simple telling, naming it, giving it a workload, and then what image. This is telling Soft Labs where my image is hosted and where it can pull it from. If I do want to authenticate it, I can. I just need to pass my credentials in here. And then I'm passing an entry point, and that is just the simple command that you would run normally in like your terminal window to run stuff. And then you can download artifacts and do a bunch of other things. So now that I've got this running and working, take a look at what the results look like. So I've got two tests, which have now logged out, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and reload those. I'm going to search for the same exact test. I can show you the test running traditionally in Soft Labs as well as via Soft Orchestrate. And I probably should not have been on VPN for this because that always makes things a little wonky. Awesome. So I've got a bunch of tests named login works and they're all labeled differently. I'm going to pull up this one here, login works 2. So I'm going to load 2 of these up. This one here is my traditional Soft Labs execution where I'm just triggering it as I normally would. And I'll give it a second to load. This is a fairly large test, so the results page takes a second to load. Great. So as you can see, login work 2 running on macOS 10.14, Safari 12. It's got 1,200 commands, a bunch of find elements and send keys and click and post and so on. And this took about but it took 7 minutes and 34 seconds. This is run the traditional route. I have the same exact test, login works 2, macOS 10.14, Safari 12, 1,200 commands, the same find, send keys, click, post, etc. And the way I know this ran through Orchestrate is the tag that we automatically add when you execute a test through Soft Orchestrate. It's the SL-image runner. And that's just an easy way to find if your test was run through Orchestrate or not. And you can see this test took 4 minutes and 13 seconds. And so that's about a 40 plus 50% time savings. And if you kind of extrapolate that out to a suite of tests, right? If I'm running 50, 60, 100 tests, 50% time savings is not just 2.5, 3 minutes. It's 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. And so you can quickly see how this escalates into being a much greater time savings and reliability savings. So that's all I have for you guys. So I just wanted to point out that Soft Orchestrate is publicly available. If you are interested in it, we're going to be posting a link to a demo video, as well as a way for you to reach out to our team to set up a time to talk to us more about it.
I'm actually hopping in, Sangeet, to talk to Sauce Connect. So hi, everyone. I'm Madison. I'm a staff product marketer here at Sauce. And yeah, excited to introduce everyone to our Sauce Connect 5.0 launch. So as we all know, security is paramount in the world of testing. And Sauce Connect is actually the leading proxy tunnel. So we really ensure a secure connection between the Sauce Labs infrastructure and when you're testing on your local environment or behind a corporate firewall. So that means you can really securely test your web and mobile applications with really complete confidence. So we're able to really safeguard that sensitive data. So what we're really excited about with the 5.0 launch is we are now using non-proprietary HTTP2 protocol, which enhances your total test performance. So you'll be able to see 5x improvement in your testing performance, as well as use 50 times less memory with our 5.0 launch. So you're really able to get faster, more secure testing without any of the headaches that come with like proprietary systems. So we're really excited to launch this into public beta next week. We'll be sharing the survey in the chat. I see it already live. So definitely be sure to fill that out. And yeah, we're excited to provide that early access on November 1st. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Madison. Hello, everyone. I'm Ashwini Sathe. I'm a product marketer here at Sauce Labs. As you all know, September and October are time for big releases from Apple and Google, and we are thrilled to announce that we have iOS 17 now supported on real devices, as well as Android 14, the Google Pixel 8 series, and new iPhone 15 lineup supported on both real devices, as well as emulator simulators. With these releases, we really want to enable you to build those cutting edge apps that are ready for the latest OS and devices and really help you create that comprehensive testing strategy. And that's why we make sure that we support it both on real devices as well as emulator simulators. Along with this, we also have the Linux virtual machines, which are now available as a new default operating system for cross-browser testing. So this will really help you achieve much faster testing times across Firefox, Chrome, and Windows 10. With every OS release, we see that there are updates made to the previous versions, plus new features coming in that can have a big impact on your projects, right? So with iOS 17, we saw that there were key changes that were brought into security and privacy. So this can impact and alter how permissions are now handled for apps. So it's important for developers to be aware of these changes to ensure that the apps are tested for these critical flows and that you continue to deliver the best possible user experience. So we want to make sure that you are, you get a summary of these exciting changes that are coming with these operating systems. So we have published 2 blogs, which we have shared via emails and other channels. And in case you missed those, we'd like to send those links across again, just to make sure that what are the key changes that came in and what should be on every developer's and tester's radar. So we are really excited for these releases, and we hope that you continue to take advantage of our world-class infrastructure and stay updated. With that, Sangeet, we can move on to the next feature here. XUI test framework support on simulators. We know this has been, quite like a top priority for a lot of our customers to get, updated. So this framework is currently in open beta, so you are all able to experience it right away. We currently support the iOS 15 and above versions. We did support XUI test framework already on real devices. So now its availability on simulators really helps you achieve that optimal coverage and do that cost effectively, right? You can achieve better scalability, enabling parallel testing on a broad range of device models and OS versions. So we do take care of the maintenance and updates of various device configs for continuous access in the cloud, right? So you don't have to worry about the cost or the burdens of doing it in-house. and really keep your teams focused on innovation and the development work. The information for this beta program and all the relevant technical documentation to help you get started can be accessed through our product portal. We'll be sharing the links out and at this point, we're really looking to hear your feedback on how we can continue to make your app development experience better with the support of this framework, as well as various different frameworks that we continue to add. All right, with that, let's go to the next horizon in our platform story and discuss how we are really bringing the ecosystem of our applications together with tighter integrations, deeper integrations in our existing products. So we are really pumped about this next capability, which is crash insights and reporting. But I do want to start with asking a question like, how many of you are really aware that your past functional tests are still leading to app crashes? Now, this is a critical revelation as we look at the test results data. And we're also hearing from our customers that they would benefit tremendously with deeper context and insights on crashes during their testing phase. This will really help them, sort of minimize the defects that are escaping into production, which we all know are way costlier to fix as you move along the SDLC. So to address this critical gap in the pre-production quality checks, we are enhancing our real device cloud and source error reporting, which you all know as backtrace, integrating these two products to give you that one-click access to pre-production crash analytics for your real device tests. And what is good about this is that you don't need to integrate any SDK here, right? So this is automated. This capability is really unique in the market, and we are hoping that it will provide tremendous value to boost your crash observability, as well as mitigate those systemic app risks earlier in the development cycle. We also hope that with this, the quality teams are able to effectively prioritize fatal errors and collaborate with development teams way better, because this has capabilities around robust reporting. You can get overviews of crash trends and patterns, and it integrates with tools that you're already using. So there's a seamless flow there. This capability is in open beta. So again, you have unrestricted access to use it. At this point, we are looking for customer feedback via brief interviews to really improve the overall experience of this. And if you're interested to learn more and would like to talk to our team, please sign up via the feedback form on our customer portal. Again, we'll be sharing those links out here as well as post-webinar. So with that, let's watch a quick demo to actually see this in action.
Hello and welcome. Today we will discuss how to identify application crashes in testing, combining the features of both Sauce Labs' real device cloud and error reporting. Ensuring quality is critical for mobile apps. However, functional testing can lead to false successes, even during a critical event like an application crash. And having these issues escape into production can prove to have detrimental impact on App Store ratings and user satisfaction. With Sauce Labs' crash insights and reporting, we can provide your QA team the ability to identify these issues as soon as they happen. To get started, you'll want to ensure that instrumentation is on in app management. This will connect your test directly to error reporting without the need for any additional setup. And then you can proceed to initiate your tests as normal. Let's check out some of our test results to see what happened with our app. As you can see, we actually have application crashes. Here you can see that the test passed, but there was still a crash. This demonstrates a critical gap in our pre-production quality checks. We will want to identify why this happened. To start this investigation, here we can walk through interactions to see if any one of them triggered the crash, watch the video, or review the crash in the crash tab, as well as within the logs. This is great for what might be a quick overview of what might be the issue, but for more advanced debugging, we see a new action to view the crash and error reporting. By clicking the link, we are now in a debug console. From here, we can see the relevant threads, as well as the faulting thread, the call stack, which includes the order of methods that were executed. In addition, we can see relevant metadata around the Sauce Labs device and other information such as the OS and version. From here, we can try to debug the crash ourselves, or we can get our team involved by assigning to a different user or applying a Jira ticket. Additionally, we can access error reporting on the sidebar. Clicking this link brings us to the triage view. Here we can see all of the errors prioritized by their frequency. Thus, we can prioritize the ones that are the most impactful. In addition, we have all of the workflow information, such as creating more tags, assigning users, creating a Jira ticket. And in addition, we can customize this table to better suit our needs. So for instance, we can add an aggregation for device model and show which of the relevant iPhones were most impacted.
Well, hope that gave you a good view of how this capability works and the value it can provide during your pre-production phase. With that, I will hand it over to Marcus Merrill to talk about visual testing.
Thanks, Ashwini. That was really great. I was in QA for a long time, and that's the kind of thing I absolutely benefited from back in the day. Hello, everyone. I'm Marcus Merrill, VP of Technology Strategy, and I'm here to talk about Sauce Visual. Just wanted to say that we've got really exciting new feature coming out here for Sauce Visual, and a lot of it is just to try to incorporate this really, really important aspect of testing into your everyday workflow, and not having to purchase multiple contracts, multiple clouds, reach out to upload and download huge swaths of megabytes full of data. It's really important for us to be able to tie all this together seamlessly within the world's best testing infrastructure, because we know now that when you have a complicated modern web page, it's made up of there's a top banner and there's a right rail and there's a left rail, and these are created by different teams. The team in Europe might do the top banner or the carousel showing some sort of imagery or doing login information, and the team managing the profile might be over in Alaska, and the Brazilian team is working on dynamic ads. And sometimes the interaction between these different web components can throw off the alignment or some of the pages that you are trying to test using Selenium or Cypress or Puppeteer. And in order to do these kinds of assertions or kinds of checks without doing a visual test, you have to write all this really complicated code using locators and XPath and CSS and all sorts of things. I mean, it works, and it works well in a pinch, but if you think about how testing works in a modern browser setup, there's all these commands that have to go back and forth over the network. They're brittle, they're slow. As Sangeet talked about earlier, the network is a primary bottleneck in all of that. So one visual check, at least on Sauce Visual, can send an API request to the cloud that says, you've already got a browser open. It's already showing the viewport I want. Take a snapshot of that. Let's compare it to a baseline that we saw previously. There's no downloading the image and uploading it to a different cloud, downloading the image, doing analysis locally that's synchronous and blocks your test. This is a call that goes out to the API, and it allows you to continue with your testing but still get signal as to whether or not there are differences. And another point to make is that the days of cross-browser testing, everyone seems to think that Chrome is just fine. And the truth is that Chrome is not just fine. We still have issues between Safari, Chrome, Edge, Firefox that happen kind of all the time, especially in terms of visual issues that happen that can crop up between the different rendering engines that they use between the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So what we're trying to get at is all that really complicated assertion code that you see that goes around. It can be eliminated, replaced by a single line of code that says, check this. Let's give it a name, create a baseline, and then you're able to get your work done in so much less code, so many fewer network calls, so much less problem with instability, and all within the world's best test infrastructure. Now, I'm going to show a demo of what the UI looks like. First of all, I'll show just a little bit of the ultra simplified code. Rachel, I saw from DQ that you were requesting a larger font size. I heard you. I tried to make a larger font size so we can actually see it here. Here's a visual check being done here using a page object model. And this example code will be released with the code when we ship it with the product. You can do simple options. You can create simple ways to do this test. And these tests, before I rewrote them with visual, were a whole lot longer. So I hope you can see how much simpler the code is now. And we'll go to the UI now to show what it looks like when you're in the UI doing comparisons. Now we have a little bit of an issue here which you can pan and zoom all around. And if you're having trouble seeing the pink box, it's right there. We can zoom in on it right here in the same user interface that you use for your testing. Or you can even see, I don't actually understand, I want to know what happens if I switch back and forth between these two elements. I see that little gear rotated a little bit. Actually, something that's intentional on the design side. Well, that gear is always going to rotate. What do I do if I don't care about the fact that that gear rotates from one test to the next? I can actually ignore the entire web element and show that it's not going to fail the test. It's not going to flag that as a difference. This test was seen as having 0 differences between the original baseline and the test itself. And you can see that here. Once again, you can hide to show the actual changes themselves. You can also remove the differences and work within the same user interface as you get all the rest of the test insights that you need. So this is the same test that we ran using the same logs. And you can just go straight to the visual test and see the same thing. So it's all inside here. The tests are zippy, they're fast, especially if you're using Sauce Orchestrate, and it's all within the same place. Now, that's my 4 or 5 minute demo of a visual, but I'd love to know if there's any more questions in the Q&A. This is in closed beta right now, and we will be releasing it sometime in Q4, but super exciting. I just wanted to show everyone what it looks like. When we release these slides, we'll show an animation of that user interface that I showed you. But otherwise, that's all I got for visual. It's really exciting, really simple, easy to use, brand new product that we have coming out for Sauce Labs. And with that, I'll hand it off to Jenna.
Thanks, Marcus. And I think Stephanie is going to be sending in the chat some more information as we're going through. But yeah, submit your questions. We'll have time at the end. If Marcus isn't able to answer right now, we can answer at the end. So keep bringing those questions in. So I'm going to be talking about the next layer of our platform, observability, data, insights, and AI. So we can go on to our first feature. Okay, so we're going to be talking about usage reporting. So to get things started, just starting to talk about why it's complicated to navigate a data landscape with all of the different information like test data, performance metrics, team productivity. This can be really difficult because of all of the granular data and insights and team level, organization level, and looking at trends over time, resource allocation. So it can be really hard to centralize and be able to build and track and report on key metrics. So with these hurdles in mind, we are thrilled to announce usage reporting, beginning with VDC data and eventually piping in RDC data as well. So usage reporting is a core feature within Sauce Insights. It's going to be an upgrade of what you're seeing right now with concurrency reporting. And they're going to be visual dashboards and reporting to better understand the health of your programs and the effectiveness of your testing strategy. And so within usage reporting, you'll get information around concurrency usage with the ability to group by your team, your resource usage, filter by organization, teams, devices, and timeframes. So there's a lot of flexibility to be able to drill down into your team's usage reporting. You'll get really valuable insights into test runs and devices, team activity, and trends over time. So with usage reporting, you'll be able to more effortlessly receive information around critical insights via the Sauce Labs UI. And we will empower our customers to make even more informed real-time decisions based on data, which enable you to enhance your test strategy. So this feature will be generally available in Q4 of this year. So keep an eye out for more information on usage reporting. Next, I'm really excited to talk about the future of AI at Sauce Labs. So if you're a Sauce Labs customer, you are really benefiting and gaining the advantage of centralizing all of your test run data into one place. And by doing so, you are able to use the foundation of all of that data to take advantage of our data, insights, and AI features, which make your testing efforts even more valuable. So in 2024, we're set to launch 2 AI-powered features that are specifically trained on your data. And rest assured, we are taking robust security measures that are going to be put in place to safeguard your organization's valuable data. So first, we have the Data Query Assistant tool. So this is a really cool LLM-based tool, large language model, that's going to be real-time test trend analysis and usage data exploration. So what that means is this tool is going to be able to allow you to query various data sources using a natural language prompt, and you'll receive in-depth insights into your testing insights. So no longer will you need to worry about, extracting and aggregating and manually building, reports or dashboards. With this tool, you can just get instant access into, the data by typing in a query, and that is responsive. And with one simple search, you'll be able to, get a bunch of great insights into your test data. So that's the first tool. The second tool is an AI-powered test generation tool. This is going to be a tool that with this tool, you'll be able to create automated tests more easily. So what you'll do is simply provide the tool with a goal, and it will leverage a large language model to generate an automated test. So with this, you, the user, would be able to modify the candidate test to precisely fit your requirements. With this test generation tool, you can gain automatic responsive insights into your test job's strategy tailored to your specific data and testing needs. This tool will significantly accelerate your ability to create automated tests and run more tests faster. So both of these exciting features will be released in 2024. Stay tuned for more information regarding potential beta opportunities, and a lot of more exciting updates to come on the future of AI at Sauce. And now I'm going to pass it over to Jason to talk about our amazing community here at Sauce.
Thanks so much, Jenna. Hey, everybody. I am Jason Baum, head of community and DevRel at Sauce Labs. And this community is such a passionate area, the topic for me. I have been a professional community person for 18 years now. And I was really excited when I came to Sauce Labs about a year ago, because Sauce was born from community, the Selenium project. And so we wanted to take that spirit and really get back to our roots. And so one of the things that drives me with community is that doing all the things, testing all the things is hard work. And we can advance the slide here. It is hard work. And sometimes it's thank you. It's easy to feel like you're all on your own. So one of our goals as a team is to make sure you never feel alone again. Through release resources like our blog, various podcasts and meetups, we've pretty much got something for everyone. You can see I've kind of made this hodgepodge of all the things that we are currently doing as far as content available to you. 2 things I really want to highlight are Test Automation Experience, hosted by Nikolai Avalokin, one of our dev advocates, which features interviews from influencers like Kent Dodds and Simon Stewart, the creative web driver. Test Case Scenario, which is hosted by me along with Evelyn Coleman, who is our manager of implementation. It's a panel format show, features Marcus Merrill, who you heard from today, lifelong tester, and Nikolai Avalokin is also one of our rotating panelists. And we also occasionally have guests. That's a lot of fun. We talk about all topics pertaining to software development, testing, CI/CD, so much more. We also do live stream shows, releases from OSS tools like Selenium. And we have we also have an event series, continuous testing meetups. We are in Barcelona, Berlin, London, and now in San Francisco again, which we're really excited about. And we also have the PyLadies Berlin in our offices on a monthly basis. And I put the Selenium logo on there because our team, somewhat in free time, somewhat during their day job, is also, we make up about 75% of the commits to Selenium. And it's a very passionate area for us, maintaining the project. Something new to our community that I'm excited to announce on this call is our Ask the Experts program. Ask the Experts is an opportunity just for SOS customers to have one-on-one conversations in real time with our dev advocates. You can advance the slide again. And it's really mainly to go over any, to basically ask them anything pertaining to software testing, test strategies, framework advice, you name it. They can cover it at a high level. Sometimes it's helpful to just be able to phone a friend. That's exactly what this Ask the Experts program is meant to be. Advance the slide one more time. And this is the most important slide. Here are the dev advocates. These are the experts who you want to be talking to: Nikolai, Titus, Diego, Paloma, and Ayal. Nikolai can talk about just about anything having to do with web testing or AI for web development. Titus can talk about anything pertaining to Selenium and test strategy and Ruby specifically, as well as Java, atomic testing, parallel testing, you name it. Diego is our CI/CD champion, testing strategy champion. He is the tech lead of the Selenium project, and can also talk about other open source tools and frameworks. Paloma is the person who you want to talk to when you're like, how do I get involved in open source? She can answer any questions pertaining to open source strategy, getting involved in open source projects. And Ayal can talk to you about anything pertaining to mobile testing, how to run Espresso, XUI frameworks, emulators, especially on SOS devices, and also can speak to test frameworks and optimization. And so those are the experts. Here is a link to book time. We will also provide these slides to you afterwards in case you don't have enough time to grab that QR code. But really excited to launch that one. And we'll also be hosting office hours on a monthly basis to answer questions on a more scalable format. So hope you make use of that tool. And thank you so much. And now we're going to turn it over to Q&A.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, we have been answering a bunch of questions here in the Q&A, but if anyone has additional questions, we have the whole team here live on the call still, so feel free to submit any questions. Marcus, I think you mentioned, did you want to clarify one of the answers that came in, one of the questions that came in through the chat?
Yes, people were asking basically if you know, we support web and mobile on Visual. I believe that we will have the capacity to support mobile on launch, but we believe it'll be more like a 2-week fast follow on, something like that. It'll very, very quick. It might be ready by launch. We're just trying to make sure it's really buttoned up, because as you might imagine, there's a lot of complexity when you go from testing a web browser to testing a mobile device. And so things happen. We want to make sure it's really, really battened down. But I believe that if it's not available initially, it'll be available as a very, very fast follow on. People probably might not even notice because it takes a while to adopt these kinds of things. So hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining today. It was really awesome to be able to go through all of our, most recent launches and the products and features that are upcoming here at SOS Labs. Yeah, we suggest that if you enjoyed what you saw today, you'll be able to interact with some of the content and some of the betas that we've been presenting to you all, and share them with your team. Maybe there were some people that weren't able to make it to today's session. Share the content with your team. We'd love to hear the feedback from you all. So thanks so much. And on behalf of everyone here at SOS Labs, thanks for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.